Hello, hello, hello. Wednesday, it's noon. You're in the right place if you want to learn how to do new construction. That's what we're going to talk about today. And I got something that is going to change the way you make money. You want to make money in new construction. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Let me know. Hopefully you can hear me. Turn this music down. I don't know why, but I just love that music. It just, it's upbeat and it's cool. And so I love doing it. Hey guys, my name is Ron Williams, and it's Wednesday at noon here in Central Illinois, and it's getting cold out here in the cornfield. Let me tell you, it's about time. I've now broken out the thermal t-shirts and heavy cotton flannel shirts. And I'm ready for spring. I don't know about you, but I'm ready for spring. Good morning. I wanted to hop on here. We've been getting on Wednesdays. Every Wednesday, I've been hopping on for a few minutes and sharing with you guys some ideas on how to grow your new construction practice. If you want to grow new construction, and so, my target conversation here, my message for today and for the last several weeks is to realtors who want to do more business in residential new construction. And you absolutely can. There's a lot of big problems. So we think there's 7 big problems, and that's what I've been going through over the last several weeks. Is what are the 7 big problems that buyers have when it comes to building a new home. And the interesting thing is that they're very real problems, but as a realtor, or other real estate professionals, as a realtor, though, you could you could lean into any of these problems, not all 7 of them. You could just lean into one of them or 2 of them, and you become the differentiation from everybody else in your market. And within a short amount of time, you move from about 10 or 20,000 realtor competitors that you have, that you're going, man, how am I going to compete against 10,000 other realtors? Or somebody told me yesterday in their market there was 65,000 realtors. That's that is unreal. And I hope that it's wrong, but there are a lot of realtors in every market. The market for realtors is saturated. Now, I don't mean that to be negative or to make you sad. It's not meant to make you sad. It's to make us aware, okay? Because we absolutely, there are opportunities to compete. There's opportunities to move ahead of everybody else. And the fastest way to do it is to serve a smaller audience of buyers and sellers with bigger value or different value. Let me put it that way. It's not necessarily working harder. It's working smarter. It's working different, right? As Sally Hogshead said in her book, Fascinate, and I'm hoping to interview her one of these days. She said different is better than better. And the thing is that realtors, we're always going out and we talk to sellers and we talk to buyers, and we're saying oh, I'm bigger, I'm with a bigger team, I got I'm better, I got a bigger marketing budget, I've been doing it longer, blah blah blah. And that's the same thing that everybody else is saying. So it kind of goes in when you're out there. Good morning, Heike. How are you? It's very good to see you. We need to catch up here in the next few days if you're going to be around this week, and if you're back into engaging. So, but the fastest way to grow as a realtor is to niche down. It's really to specialize, and there are a lot of different niches. We're not going to get into that today. But the one where I have specialized for over a decade now, and I teach realtors how to do this as well, and they're getting big wins, is new construction. And there's lots of reasons to do it. But in new construction, we've identified that there are 7 big problems that buyers have. And a lot of times people are not aware of it, but it came to the point, when I was a realtor and specializing in new construction here out in the middle of the cornfield in Central Illinois, and I started to see these problems, and then we started to see, oh my goodness, these are problems all over the place, not just in the cornfield, and out beyond the cornfield, but all over the United States. There's these big problems. And, when you lean into it and don't run away from it, when you go, okay, yeah, that is a problem, and you begin to talk about the problem and say, all right, well, how can we address this problem? then all of a sudden you become the thought leader. You become the game changer and the differentiator. And speaking of differentiators, here's one right here. Mr. Popadak, Mr. Tom Popadak down in Orlando. Welcome. Good to see you, Tom, as much as I can see you. I can see your picture. And Tom, we need to catch up soon too. So anyway, so we started to identify that there are 7 big problems that new construction buyers have when it comes to building a house. And a lot of times we on the sales side, we don't recognize it because, well, we know where to find the builders and we know where to find the neighborhoods sometimes and all of those things. And we go through the process, but on the buyer side, it's much, much more difficult. And so over the last several weeks, we've gone through almost all of them. I've got one more next week that you're going to want to check in on. That any one of these, if you step into any one of these, you can begin to make big waves, big changes for yourself, for your buyers, for your sellers, the builders, the developers that you're wanting to build quality business relationships with. And today we are on number 6 of the 7 problems. Now, if you want to see the other 7 or the other 6, there's a couple different places. There's videos in the New Home Niche Blueprint group that I'll put the link to it. But we have a Facebook group called New Home Niche Blueprint. You can hop in there and scroll, and you can find all the 7 problems there. But we also have them on our Hoodle YouTube channel, and there's another place where you can actually download the whole list of them all in one place. So I'll give you that before we jump off. But today I want to talk about problem number 6, and it's a doozy. It's a doozy, Tom, because and I in some ways I think that this is maybe the most controversial of all the problems, and I call it a kind of a gray area alert. I think it's a gray area because some people go, well, that's not my responsibility, but I just want to put it out there to you guys for consideration. Okay, because it's something that we need to talk about. So Tom says, I need to know all Orlando market realtors who are signed up with Hoodle Affiliate Realtors. Tom, I can do that. We can help you connect with all of them. And there's more of them that are signing up and joining right now, as we speak. I think there was 1 or 2 more in just the last few days. So let's connect, and I want to hear how everything's going down in your market as well. But this is probably, out of the 7 buyer problems, this is probably the grayest area of one, and I call it when I tried to name it, I call it technically. It's not steering. Technically, it's not. It's really not. And it's not redlining. It's not tying. It's not, any of these other things that I know of that I can tell. And I am no legal expert. But where does this fall in your thinking? And here's the problem, that when it comes to new construction, there are a lot of new construction buyers, a lot of people that want to build a house, right? And we've identified that they have a hard time finding the neighborhoods. They have a hard time finding and knowing the difference between each neighborhood. About 70% of neighborhoods are not listed. They're not on the MLS. They have a hard time finding the builders and discerning the difference between one builder and another and what's the difference between production and semi-custom and custom. Big problem, right? They have a hard time finding the realtor, but on this particular one, the thing that I want to talk about is the kind of tendency that some realtors have, and I know it's not you, would not be anybody that would ever check in here, but it happens, okay? And that is, this problem is the realtor's tendency to persuade the buyer towards what is best in the best interest of the realtor, not necessarily the buyer. Tell me if that makes sense. And I'll give you a couple of examples. And there's really 4 ways that I see this happening. That a lot of times a buyer will say, well, we want to build, we've got a dream home. We want to build our dream home. We've been dreaming about it for years. And there's 4 big ways that the realtor can often, I don't want to say steer. It's not steering. It's really not steering, but they can kind of direct the buyer in a way that is either here, let's go this path for your new dream home because it's easy for who? For me, the realtor. It's convenient. It's very easy for me to find. It's convenient. Maybe it's close to home. It's got top of mind awareness. I think about this particular builder because I drive by their flags all the time. So it's got top of mind awareness, or it works in my favor. One of those four things, where very often when a realtor has a buyer, they are directing that buyer to go to one builder, one neighborhood, or another because it's in my advantage. Not necessarily the best thing for you, the buyer, but hey, it's easy. I can get it done. I get paid faster. And so, this plays out in a lot of different ways. Hey, Facebook user, I don't know who you are. Would love to know who you are. Tell me your name. But so you've seen that as a sales rep, though, working on the builder side. Is that what you're saying? And that's very interesting, and that's true. The builders reps will see that as well. And so I'll give you a couple of quick examples, okay? And we're going to keep this one short today because I know you guys got money to make and you got business to get to. But hey, Georgette, good to see you. Thanks for being here. So I'll give you a couple of examples, and we've seen a lot of them over the last several years, a lot of different examples of this type of thing. And again, well, I go back to my title. It's not steering. Okay, but what is it? What is it exactly? And here's a couple of examples. One time, a couple of years ago, Cindy and I, my wife, we went up to this little small community kind of up in the north of Illinois, little quaint little Civil War era community, little town where she buys Christmas trinkets and stuff like that and shops for women's clothes. And, we drove up there, and like we do every place we go, I feel sorry for her sometimes because she has to deal with this. She has to put up with me. But I always, if I find a realtor's office, I'm going to probably stop in and say hi to the realtors and just connect with people. It's just what I do. And I stopped into a realtor's office in this little small town. I won't say where. You can't drag it out of me. But, I stop in, talk to a realtor who's on floor duty that day. And it was on a weekend. And and I said, hey, I am looking for, my wife and I would like to find where are the new construction neighborhoods around your fine community. And he said, well, it so happens there are not any new construction neighborhoods. There is no new construction going on here at all, and it's like, which kind of surprised me. Generally there's somebody building somewhere, but I always take people at their word, to give it the benefit of the doubt. And I was like, okay, well, I guess we're not going to be looking at new construction this weekend, which made Cindy, perfectly fine because it was probably her birthday or something. I don't remember that particular weekend, but that was fine. And we go on down the road and we enjoyed our weekend, right? No new construction in this small little beautiful community up north. And so went on our way, and about 6 months later, it happened that we just had a weekend off. It's like, you know what? Let's go back up there. We had such a good time. And so, we tool on back up the state, and we go to this place, we get a bed and breakfast. And as we're checking in the bed and breakfast, the owner or the proprietor of the bed and breakfast says, so what exactly do you guys do? What do you do? He's just making conversation. I said, well, sir, we have this website for people who want to build a new home anywhere in the United States, where they can find the neighborhoods that fit best their needs, where they can find the builders and the floor plans, and they can begin to and find a realtor or two or five, find the realtors who specialize in new construction in their local market and get people into their dream home. We make it simpler. We empower new construction buyers who want to build their dream home for the first time ever, to see all their options, where they can see all the neighborhoods, all the builders, and start to step through this process of, hey, let's build our dream home. Let's make it easier for them. So that's what we do. And he said to me, well, when are you going to bring that to our area? And, I didn't want to tell him. I felt a little, sad for him. I didn't want to inform him, but I kind of did anyway. It's like, well, I didn't want to like let him down, but there really is no new construction that's going on in your community here. I love your community, and we'd love to have it on the website, and we'd love to be driving people, more buyers, to building here in your beautiful community. And he said, what do you mean, that there's no new construction? I said, well, and I don't remember his name. I'll call him Bill. Bill, last time we were here, I met with a realtor, and apparently Bill was not aware. He was a Airbnb owner, but he did not know about new construction. And so, I said, I met with a realtor, and I was, pretty much shown that there really is no new construction. So we'd love to do it, but, not going to happen. And he said, well, just so you know, I happen to head up zoning for our fine community. It's like, oh, you do? And he said, I can think of right now 17, 18, no, I think there's 19 neighborhoods where somebody could build. And that's not including all the one-off lots and parcels of land, but there's 19 neighborhoods where somebody could build. And he said, that's just off the top of my head. And that was a perfect example of things that we've seen over and over and over. Now, when I went and talked to the realtor the first time, he didn't know, and he didn't really ask, but, and I would have told him, what it was about, but he didn't say, well, do you want to build? He assumed that we were buyers, and didn't really ask any questions. He just said, well, there's no new construction. And isn't that interesting? Because the truth of the matter is that kind of thing happens over and over and over and over again, all across the United States every day. That are realtors, and I'm not dissing anybody, I'm not kicking anybody to the curb, or our industry to the curb. I'm just saying we could do it better, right? Where realtors will very often convince or persuade the buyer that there is no new construction, or don't consider new construction. Why? Because I, as a realtor, don't know anything about it, or it might be too difficult, or maybe I won't get my commission as quickly as I would if you just buy a pre-owned home, or it's just too much work. And so, now here's one more example, and then we'll kind of get to the punchline of this. As we started to realize how big the scope of this problem was, and we were getting invited to come to other cities and present to HBAs, home builders associations, and meet with builders, meet with brokerages and stuff. And we went over to a larger city that was nearby us, about 2 hours away. Won't say which one, but we were in a larger city, and we were invited to meet with this big realtor brokerage. And they brought in the owners, the realtor brokerage, and everybody was kind of interested in, well, what is this Hoodle thing and what's it about? And they brought in their resident new construction expert to the meeting, and very nice guy, from all I could tell. But he was the guy who, in their big market, was the new construction expert. And and by the way, there are very, very few realtors who are actually stepping up to this game. There's so much opportunity. It's absolutely incredible. And it's like one of those things that when you see it, you will not unsee it ever again. You will never unsee it. I just had somebody message me last night, said, hey, you said that in one of your videos. He said, it's absolutely true. Now that you've shown me, I can't unsee it. I gotta get into this. And, but there's so much opportunity because there's buyers and new construction buyers. Think about this, building a house is arguably the most complex purchase that anybody ever undertakes in their life. There's probably nothing more complex to a consumer than building a new home. Now, if you're a builder, or you're a builder sales rep, or you're a realtor, or you're in mortgage, you're on the seller side of this equation, you might not feel it. So because you've done it 1,000 times, but to the buyer, a lot of times it's their first time. And even if it's not their first time, they still got a lot to learn. And to them, it is terrifying. It's scary. They want to do it, but there's so much missing information, right? And the thing about new construction buyers is they want a fiduciary. They want a guide. Now they'll go without one if they can't find a realtor that actually knows. What's interesting too is when you start to realize this, you realize the people who are building a new house are the ones who really, 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 really want to, because the rest of them who really, really want to, but it's like, no, this is too doggone difficult. This is scary. I can't find the neighborhoods. I can't find the builders. I can't find the mortgage. I can't find the realtor that knows anything about it. And this is a very complex transaction. Maybe we'll wait, and so anyway, we're over in this other town. Sorry, I'm off track. ADD is a wonderful thing, by the way. And anyway, so we're over in this other city, and we meet with this brokerage, and they bring in their residential new construction expert, and he's sitting at the table, and he said, "So what is this you're doing?" I said, "Well, we've got this website where we're adding all the neighborhoods and all the builders and all the floor plans so the buyers can see what's available, and to empower more buyers into this process of building their dream home. Allow people to step into it and get it accomplished. They want to. Let's help them." And he said, "Well, I've got all the neighborhoods in a spreadsheet, all the new home neighborhoods." He said I forget, like 300 of them. He said there's 300 new home neighborhoods, which you might think that's a lot, but it's really not. And I said, "Really?" No, I think he said it was 360. It was 360 neighborhoods. That's all, guaranteed. Whole metro area of this big city. There's 360 places where somebody could build a house. And I didn't want him to lose face. I wasn't trying to cause a conflict, but we'd already researched it, and we kind of knew and believed from our swag, our scientific wild guess, from what we could tell, there was probably more like 1,400 new home neighborhoods, maybe 1,500. And here he's telling me there's 360. That's it. And so we went ahead, had our meeting. We get done with the meeting, and towards the end of the meeting, somehow it came up. He said, "Oh, and I think Cindy, my wife, said, Cindy said, well, we think that there's about 1,400 new home neighborhoods." And he's like, well, you're talking, okay, you're talking new home neighborhoods. He said, "See, I only want to deal with production builders. There's 360 production builders." And it's like, my gosh, dude, if you're out there broadcasting that this is the only options on behalf of these buyers, what are we doing? Really? I mean, what are we doing? Because it's not steering, it's not tying, it's not redlining. I don't think it's anything illegal, but it certainly is not fiduciary. And you would think, well, that's never happened in my market. But I'm telling you what, I get buyers that reach out to me periodically on the website. Somebody reached out to me just a few months ago and said, "Hey, thank you. We found your website. We love this. We've been wanting to build it our whole adult life, our whole married life. And every place we move, we try to find a realtor who can help us build our dream home." And according to him, he said, realtors are always saying, "You know what? You don't really need to do it now. It's much easier. Let's just get into this house over here." And before you know it, they pulled up what's available on the MLS, and off you go. And it's interesting because we've heard this so many times from buyers and continue to hear it. And so it's a gray area, I know, but here's the thing, we could, buying a pre-owned home is much different and much easier for a buyer than building a new construction home. It's different. You can go to the MLS and you can pull up anything and everything that's on the market except for FSBOs. And they can also see it from every IDX feed, and they can see it on Zillow, and they can see it on Realtor, and dozens of other home sites and portals. But new construction is much, much different because it starts with finding the neighborhoods, and 70% of those or more are not listed. And the fact of the matter is, buyers deserve to know their options. They deserve to know their options on where are the neighborhoods, not just the ones that are easy for me to tell them about, because maybe it's easier for me to do new production. I don't have to dig as deep. All the information's there. But at least I shouldn't, we shouldn't be persuading people not to build, or doing what's easy for me, or, we convince them not to, because I'm not saying you, I'm saying it's happening though, city by city, all over the United States, probably every day, someplace where buyers are being convinced not to build. But here's the thing, you know what? If we step into this instead of avoiding it and go, okay, buyers do deserve to know. They deserve a fiduciary. They want a guide. They want somebody who says, you know what? Mr. and Mrs. Smith, I'm going to lock arms with you. We're going to hold hands and I'm going to walk you through this entire process. And we're going to find the neighborhoods. Not that they want to go to every single neighborhood, not that they want to meet every single builder, nor does every builder want to meet them, right? But they deserve our, what is the legal term that we have in real estate licensing? Loyalty. They deserve our fiduciary, us being a fiduciary and guiding them through the process. And if there's 5 other communities and 3 other builders that would also fit them, we owe it to them for us to explore it. And here's what happens when we stop going the other direction and skirting the fact that, okay, it's difficult to find these, but we begin to lean into this, okay, and start to really try to understand the inventory, the opportunity, the process of building a new home, and start discovering the neighborhoods, discovering the builders, and what's different between a production build and a semi-custom and custom, and what is different between this builder, this builder, this builder, and 10 others. And very, very quickly, when you do this, you will very quickly leave all of your competitors in the dust, because 99.999% of them, that is a very accurate number, are not doing it. They're just not doing it. And now, I'm not telling you that it's not like driving up to this is maybe one of the problems that some people have. We're so used to things, we want things easy. I get it. That's kind of life today. But learning and building relationships with the builders and discovering the neighborhoods and learning the inventory, it is not like, driving up to McDonald's drive-up window and, hey, I just want to order up 20 relationships with all the builders to do blah, blah, blah. I mean, you have to drive out all the way to the neighborhood. You have to, discover the inventory. What's the difference? But when you do this, it is such a huge investment, because your knowledge just begins to accelerate way past everybody else's, where very quickly people are like, wow, what is it about you? You seem to know more about this than any other realtor that I've ever spoken to. And guess what? You do. You'll learn more about not just the way new construction buyers are, but you begin to learn about the way builders think. You begin to learn about their businesses, their product, their process, their challenges, their pain points, and you speak a different language, and it shows up out in the marketplace very, very quickly. And what you will see when you look in your rear view mirror is that pretty soon, even the realtors are asking you, how did you get this? How did you find this information out? And guys, that is really what Hoodle is about. I mean, that's the reason why we built this. When I was a realtor, I knew that I needed to, and if you, and this is true for any one of you, if you want to niche in anything, but if you want to niche in new construction, you need to build 3 things for yourself. You need to develop authority around that topic, where you understand that topic, and particularly in your market. You don't have to understand it across the United States or around the world, just your market, right? And even within new construction, there are sub-markets within new construction. I think there's probably 28 or 29 niche markets within new construction. You could specialize just in 55 plus. Somebody that I just met the other day wants to specialize in beach homes. You can specialize in new construction beach homes. You can specialize in a lot of different elements of that. And all of a sudden, you know more about it than any other realtor in your market. I don't care if there's 60,000 other realtors. You know that topic. And the more you niche down and start to really understand that one narrow thing, the more value you are providing to that type of buyer, that seller, and it shows up in your language. And very soon you're going to look in your rearview mirror and all the other realtors are going to be behind you going, "Hey, wait up. How'd you find that information out? How did you get this? Because we can't find it, but it's there." And that's the reason we built Hoodle. In fact, Hoodle, the name, and maybe some of you guys know, maybe some of you don't, kind of a goofy name. It's at hoodle.com. It's right up there in the corner. You can see it, Hoodle. And Hoodle is neighborhood. It's a mashup of the word neighborhood and Google. So neighborhood and Google, it's a search tool for new home neighborhoods where you also can find the neighborhoods, and you can also find realtors that specialize in new construction, and you can find the builders, and now we're adding floor plans, and it just continues to grow, and it's all over the United States. And if you want to specialize in new construction, and even if you don't, even if you're just like, well, I might have a buyer, you need to find out about Hoodle. You need to be able to speak intelligently about it, know what it is. And if you want to do new construction, you absolutely should lean into it and reach out to me and figure out, well, where do I fit within it? And by the way, you may not see it automatically where you fit, but if you feel like, hey, I'm part of the home building ecosystem, I want to connect with more buyers, I want to connect with more builders, I want to connect with more developers, then reach out to me and I'll show you where you fit and how you can get involved. But we started it here to solve a problem for buyers, and out in the middle of the frozen cornfield, not quite frozen yet, but give it a few more days. But out here in the middle of the cornfield, we needed it, and it turns out it's needed all over the United States. And now Hoodle is growing all over the United States. And if it's something that if you're wanting to do new construction, absolutely check it out. And we train realtors in how to do this stuff every single week. And absolutely love working with all the realtors out there and seeing people get wins. So, guys, that's what I got. Hey, let me give you one other thing. I'm going to shift the little scrolly thing at the bottom here. I want to show you something. There it is. So, New Home Niche Blueprint. If you want to see all of the 7 problems, and really, why wouldn't you, right? But if you want to read all 7 of the problems, and by the way, if you can just pick 1 or 2 of these things and lean into it and start to get big wins, and really start to separate. There's 3 things you want to build. You want to build authority in new construction. You want to build unique value, and you want to build differentiation. You want those 3 things attached to your brand. Okay. I want authority. I want unique value that I'm providing to buyers and to builders and to developers, and I want differentiation. I want to present something and have something new and different that I'm bringing to the game, and that's what Hoodle is about. And if you really want to build those things, I would go to that scrolly thing address there, newhomenicheblueprint.com, and for the price of your email address, which we don't send out spam. I don't know if we've ever sent out an email. We probably should, but yeah, anyway, you can download this little ebook of the 7 problems, and you can go find the 7 videos that go along with it. And then there is also a class there. There's a premium class. It's very inexpensive, but there's I think 8 or 9 hour class on how to start understanding and getting a hold of your new construction market, your local market. And look, the last month or month before, NAR said there are, between June and July, there was 17,000 more realtors that entered the market. 17,000. So the numbers of realtors are going up. And the way to move ahead, the way to rise above the noise and find your voice and get the respect and the number of transactions and the commissions and the referrals and all the things that you got into this business for, which are still there. The way to do it is pick a niche and begin to offer more value and different value, unique value to a smaller set of buyers and sellers. My thing is new construction, and there's a huge window of opportunity for anybody that steps into it. If I can help you with it in any way, you just reach out to me in our group. You can join our group. This is a free group, and join that group, or send me a message on Facebook, and or on LinkedIn, either one, and we can hop on a call, and I'll try to help you get going. And because I want to help everybody I can. So listen, I hope you are having a wonderful week, and I hope you have an amazing week. And as much as anything, I hope you're out there making it amazing for somebody else, because that's our calling. That's our opportunity, right? So have a great week, everybody. Thank you so much if you tuned in, and reach out if I can be some help. And I will talk to you next Wednesday. We'll see you. Bye.